You ever think some people talk too much, Ray?
Oh, definitely. I mean, I dare say people have even accused you and me of talking too much at times.
Can you imagine? I mean, yeah, you're probably right, I'm sure. But that's the nice thing about our podcast. We've got a volume control, I guess.
Hey, that's true.
Yeah.
There's only so long I can keep my mouth shut.
Same. I'm right there with you.
So we're in the heart of downtown Portland, Maine.
Yep, we are.
And we're walking along Park Avenue right next to the Portland Expo Center.
Yep, that's right where we are.
And the Expo Center is a massive building. Behind it, the Hadlock Field, where they play professional baseball. There's a football stadium besides that, and a middle school.
Yep, it's a massive area that can hold all kinds of events.
And just to our east is Deering Oaks Park. It's a large park with a pond, plenty of trees, another baseball field, and plenty of space. A great area in the heart of Portland.
It is. And the reason there was so much land to turn this into a recreation area and a park is because this used to be a farm, a poor farm specifically, and next to that was an almshouse where those who had nothing could go. So we've come to Portland, Maine to search for John Aitchison, the man they say who only spoke twice. Hello, I'm Jeff Belanger.
And I'm Ray Auger. Welcome, legendarians, to the New England Legends podcast. Thank you for riding along with us as we chronicle all the ghosts, monsters, aliens, UFOs, roadside oddities, and all the other wicked strangeness that makes our region unique. Please check out our website to see everything happening with us, like Jeff's story tour, dates to see my band, the Pub Kings, links to buy Jeff's new book, Wicked Strange New England, the 2026 Haunted New England calendar, and a whole lot more.
We'll go searching for the man who only spoke twice right after this word from our sponsor.
So the Expo building, which holds the ice arena, is the old almshouse?
No, this building was constructed in 1914. Before all this was here, there was a poor farm and the almshouse.
Okay, we've talked about poor farms before.
Yep.
It's a place where people could go who were broke, down on their luck, or who needed extra help. They were expected to work the farm and help the place be self-sufficient.
Exactly. Almost every large community had some version of this. Portland, being a city, also had an almshouse located right next door to the poor farm. The almshouse was a place where people who couldn't work or who needed others to take care of them could go. Now, that could include the elderly, the physically or mentally disabled, or anyone else who had just no place else. It was the responsibility of the community to care for them.
Now, here's a little more background on the city of Portland. There were people here as far back as 11,000 years ago. The Algonquin were the first to live here. Being located in the harbor within Casco Bay, it was a great area for fishing and hunting. Europeans first settled here in 1633 when they established a fishing village. Eventually, it was named Falmouth. The area was hard hit by the King Philip's War, the King William's War, and the American Revolution. Falmouth split in 1786 into Falmouth Neck and an area they called Portland. By the 19th century, Portland was growing fast. Now, just to give you an idea of just how fast, in the year 1800, the population was about 3,700 people. A century later, it was just over 50,000 people.
And that's a big increase. With that many people, they needed to take care of those who couldn't take care of themselves. A poor farm was established right here in 1803. Over the next century, many would come and go. Most passed through unnoticed, but there was one man folks talked about quite a bit. They talked about him ironically because he didn't talk, and he refused to work. So let's head back to the year 1864 and meet him.
It's October of 1864 here in Portland, Maine. The country is still in the middle of a brutal civil war. Considering how many men from this region are far away fighting in the war, it's clearly on a lot of minds in Portland. There's hope there will be an end soon, but for now, people are trying to go on as best they can. Folks still need to work, kids need to go to school, and Portland must press on.
One of those people going to work is 44-year-old John L. Aitchison.
Aitchison is a promising man. He's a scholar. He loves to read and even collects books. He's in the dry goods business with his brother. And though he's a confirmed bachelor and never married, he's well-traveled in Portland's social circles. He's currently renting a room at the Elm House Inn and Tavern over on the corner of Temple and Federal Streets.
It's a nice place, too. Swanky. Aitchison takes his mail at the Elm House. He takes many of his meals there, too. It's a great setup for a bachelor like him.
One day, a letter arrives for Aitchison at the front desk. No one paid the letter much attention at first. Aitchison opened it in the lobby and began to read.
As he's reading, his face suddenly turns serious, then sad. And now he's walking off to his room in the inn.
I guess the news is serious.
It's the following day, and Aitchison doesn't show up for work. In his store, he runs with his brother.
Maybe he's sick? A cold or something like that?
Maybe. When he doesn't show up for work the following day, his brother grows concerned. So he pays a visit to the Elm House. When he asks about his brother, he learns that John comes down from his room twice per day and sits in his usual seat at the table, where he takes his breakfast and later his dinner.
The Elm House owner tells Aitchison's brother that he's not talking much these days. There's been a change.
Days go by. John Aitchison is showing no sign of changing his behavior. He's still not going to work. He's only leaving his room twice per day to take his meals. And each day he's saying fewer and fewer words until eventually he'd only come down for meals, load up his plate with food, and then bring it back to his room to eat in solitude.
More weeks pass. Nothing has changed for Aitchison. He's becoming more reclusive by the day. He's not talking to anyone anymore. He visits the washroom once per week to bathe and twice a day to get food and return to his room.
Months pass. Aitchison is now out of money. Residing at the Elm House full-time isn't cheap. Now broke, his friends fetch the overseer from the poor farm. Their hope is that being forced to leave the luxury of the Elm House will rattle John into getting back to work and being productive once again. They knock on Aitchison's door at the Elm House. Aitchison sees who's come for him. He shrugs and goes quietly with the overseer of the poor farm.
It's a short wagon ride over to the poor farm, about a mile away. Once at the farm, Aitchison is informed that he's going to need to work the grounds to stay here. That's when John speaks up for the first time in months.
I swear, I won't work.
And he clearly means it. When the overseer points towards the barn, Aitchison just sits down on a log.
When it's clear working the farm isn't going to happen, they move John next door to the almshouse. And that's where he remains. He stays in his room all day and night, except to use the bathroom. He comes downstairs 3 times a day for meals, but brings the food back to his tiny bedroom.
This behavior goes on for weeks and then months. Aitchison never ventures outside. When people catch a glimpse of his room, it's neat and tidy, as is his appearance. He keeps himself clean-shaven. His eyes are bright. His face looks intelligent, even curious. Yet he doesn't read anymore. He just sits in silence.
Months turn to years. And all the while, Aitchison keeps his silence and his routine. The only words he spoke were on the day they brought him here when he refused to work. He kept his word, too. He's never worked, never been outside since. But then, an officer of the poorhouse arrives to inspect his room. That's when Aitchison utters,
I am engaged, sir.
John Aitchison never spoke again. And that brings us back to today.
Well, they say silence is golden.
They do. But quitting life doesn't seem like a good thing either.
No, it doesn't. Now, did anyone ever find out what happened that made John Aitchison turn recluse and quit?
We don't know. His story made a lot of newspapers back in 1884 because it was just so strange. Someone who was doing well by all outward appearances, but then everything changed. He left a productive life where he was a business owner and living in a nice place to literally the poorhouse where he never worked again.
That is so strange.
We've said it before. All work is noble. Jobs matter, not just so you can make money, but so you can be part of something bigger. You're contributing to society in the form of labor, taxes, and spending your earnings where you live. I can't imagine not having some sort of occupation to keep me busy and feeling all those good feelings you get from earning a paycheck.
But this guy just quit all of it. People are thinking it, and I'll just say it. He was a freeloader.
I agree. He probably also suffered agoraphobia or some other disorder where he didn't want to go outside. But he also chose not to talk to anyone for decades. He spiraled into total solitude.
And that makes his story even stranger. This is a guy who literally quit every part of his life. He quit working. He quit contributing in any way. And he quit talking to people. It's one thing to keep your silence. It's another to become a burden.
I get it. It's not a path I'd pick either. And that takes us to After the Legend, where we take a deeper dive into this week's story, sometimes veer off course.
After the Legend is brought to you by our Patreon patrons. This group is the best. They help us out with all of our production costs, hosting, marketing, and everything else that it takes to bring you 2 podcasts each week. If you could spare $3 per month, it goes a long way in helping our cause. For that, you'll get early ad-free access to new episodes, plus bonus episodes and content that no one else gets to hear. Just head over to patreon.com/New England Legends to sign up.
And to see some pictures related to this week's story, click on the link in our episode description or go to our website and click on episode 419.
I mean, there's been plenty of times that I thought to myself, I'm never speaking again. I don't want to talk anymore.
Which is funny because you talk for a living.
As do you.
Yeah.
But you must feel that way. Like, I just want total silence. I don't want to say anything.
But I know better. I know I only want it for a little while.
Well, sure.
Yeah.
Right. This guy was really dedicated to that cause.
One of the things, it's October, so I'm speaking all night. I'm doing interviews. I'm talking a lot. And one of the things I have to remind myself, I often catch up with friends on my long car rides as I'm going somewhere. And I have to remind myself to not do that. Like, just listen to music or podcasts. Because,
Right.
I need to rest my voice.
Especially if you're having like a real vigorous conversation and you're laughing and you're yelling about something, and then you realize an hour later you can't talk anymore.
No. The other part of it, too, is that sometimes, do you ever do this when you're driving? Like, silence. You turn the radio, nothing.
Oh,
yeah.
I do that sometimes because I think I've heard it all. And any kind of words I hear now are just white noise. It's boring. It's
That's a new word. What did you say?
And that happens when I watch movies or TV. Sometimes, oddly enough, I'll just shut the TV off because I've seen it all.
Yeah.
And I'm upset by it.
Oh.
It upsets me, and I just shut the TV off and I sit in silence. But sometimes silence is good.
It's resetting.
Yes.
So silence is great. Like, but in doses. And it's not like this.
I can't imagine all day like this guy.
By the way, if you're in the almshouse, you don't have a luxury apartment. You've got a room with a bed and a bureau, right?
Yeah.
Like, maybe, and just a tight little space.
Maybe a window?
Yeah. And you just choose to sit in it all day and all night and do nothing and not talk to anyone. And so on the one hand, part of me gets mad at that, right? Like freeloading, I don't abide, right? Like, if you can work, if you're able-bodied, if there's something you can do, you should do something.
Yeah.
I don't like the notion of someone not doing anything.
Especially if it's covering your room and board.
Well, right. Yeah. Like, at the very least, I mean, if someone stayed with you in your house like this and was just like, just let me know when meals are. And you're like, hey, look, I'm trying to help you out.
Right.
But not forever, because at some point, keeping you here is the best thing I can do for you is put you on the street.
Yeah.
Right. Like, if that doesn't force you to get going again, then
I wonder what would have happened if that was the case. If they said, okay, the next step is just leaving.
Out
go.
the door. Yeah. You're out.
Would he have died? Would he have survived the winters? Or would he have shaped up and spoke and did some work?
So these are, I can already hear the political discussions happening right now, right? Like, we can hear you, right? So I get it. People like this, I get why you'd be like, yeah, you want to help people who need help, right? Who are like, I can't work. There's literally nothing I can do. And I understand there are disorders like agoraphobia and things like that. And we have to help those folks. Be like, okay, well, what can you work from home? Can you do something? He could have telecommuted. He could have got on the internet and just, no, he couldn't. There was no such thing back then.
If it were today, yes.
Yes, right, potentially. But no, I get it. And I get that there are people with disorders that make it just absolutely terrifying to do just about anything.
So perhaps this was a disorder that wasn't diagnosed yet.
Could have been. But what's strange is that, by all accounts, his life was totally normal. He was social.
Yep. He looked good, right?
Well, yeah, took care of his appearance. He took care of his appearance even after. But he was social. He'd go to parties.
Before then, yeah.
He ran a business with his brother.
Yep.
Was fine.
Something switched in his head.
Something switched, and we don't know what. And that's the thing, right? Something happened. And
something traumatic, I would think.
You would assume
that affects the brain.
Yeah, where suddenly you're like, oh, I'm done.
Yeah. And it goes back to that letter.
Well, right.
We don't know what was in the letter.
What's in the letter?
Right? That's the big question. What's in the box? The
What's-
age-old question.
What's in the
box?
It's a MacGuffin. You're not supposed to know.
Yeah.
So that's how it goes. But anyway, this is a very weird story we found in the news archives, and it was passed around. It was in multiple newspapers. Just this very strange tale of a guy that they say only spoke twice.
Slow news day.
Maybe. But it was in like half a dozen papers around the country.
Yeah.
And specifically citing this guy by name. And I thought it was sort of interesting because I think we've all had We've all had days where you just want to quit.
Yeah,
You're like,
obviously.
You know what sounds good? Jail. 3 meals a day, a bed.
You get to work out.
Yeah.
Get an education.
Yeah, I can read all day. I can focus on my
God, that does sound nice.
We just got to knock over a liquor store and this will be great.
Now, okay, so you're going to put yourself in jail. You have to commit a crime.
Yeah.
But how do you benefit your loved ones? I don't think it's a liquor store. I think it's got to be a big heist that you can hide some of that money for your loved ones.
Oh, like rob a bank?
Yeah.
It's not easy to do.
I think you
that.
got to think about it before you just commit a crime to go to jail.
All right. Well, we'll work on that. But I do. We've talked about too how many institutions and asylums were shut down in this country, especially like the 1980s, 70s. Like they all went away, and some of those folks needed the asylum system. They needed something.
They
right?
knew nothing else.
They knew, and so our homeless population swelled, our prison population swelled, because there are people that you need to tell me what to do all day, every day.
Yeah.
You need to tell me breakfast is at this time, lights out at this time, exercise is this time, and just do it all for me. I just can't do it. And there are people that end up in jail because that's just what they need. And that's too bad, because I think there's a lot of folks that don't need jail, but they do need structure.
Right.
But we don't have another place for them.
Yeah.
And that's a shame, because our prison system should be for, people that need to be punished, not need to be managed.
Do we go back to poorhouses? Perhaps farms could turn into poorhouses, right?
So New York State, when it was first established, and this was like a Dutch belief, so the Dutch said every community must have a poor farm, must have a place where you put people that can't take care of themselves. And they contribute however they can contribute. In a perfect world, you're like, okay, you've got someone elderly who's a widow who just can't maintain a house, but they could like help with the cooking.
Sure.
There's something you can do to help this place run and contribute. You have a place to stay, there's people around you, and that's the perfect world. You take care of each other, you take care of the farm.
You're kind of describing a cult at this point.
Right. Commune?
A commune.
Commune that turns into a cult. Yeah, I know. One turns into the other eventually, right?
As you're explaining it, I'm like, well, that's a commune. That's a cult.
Yeah, that's first like, hey, we're going to just live together. It's going to be cool. Like, all right, yeah. And give me all your worldly possessions. There it is. There it is. Okay. Yep. Now we're a cult. But no, you're right. And that would be the perfect world. And then communities were like, I don't want to have to take care of people. I work hard. Like, why should my money go toward that? And so it sort of became statewide and federalized. Like,
Let's not make this political.
I'm trying not to, but you know what I mean? Like, so it got to the point where like, okay, well, people need help. There are people that can't take care of themselves. We got to look after them.
Yeah.
And it's very easy to say like, oh, they're all freeloaders. Well, they're not all freeloaders. This guy was.
But still, we don't know what was going through his mind. What happens?
No, we don't know.
Could have been mentally damaged.
Yep.
Yeah.
We don't know. And that's the mystery. And the mystery, therein lies the legend.
Got a story you think we should check out? Email us through our website. Most of our story leads come from you. Plus, we love hearing from you. And we love it when you post a review for us. And when you tell your friends about the show as well. It goes a long way to help us grow.
We'd like to thank Marv Anderson for lending his voice acting talents this week. Thank you to our Patreon patrons. Thank you to our sponsors. And our theme music is by John Judd.
Until next time, remember,
stay legendary.